What is the impact of a single moment on a life, and how do character choices reveal who they are? Over this past school year, we have read many core texts and supplemental texts that show us how a character's story is affected by a single moment. The choices that they make can lead them to becoming a heroic person or lead to their death. No matter what choice these characters make, big or small, everything they do impacts them in the end. In 102 Minutes by Jim Dwyer and Kevin Flynn, it follows the story of two good friends in the South Tower, Ed Baya and Abe Zelmanowitz. Both characters are stuck on the 27th floor with no elevators and no way down because Baya is disabled and in a wheelchair. When a fireman finds him, he asks Zelmanowitz, "Why don't you go?" To which he unselfishly responds, "No, I'm staying with my friend." This shows that even though Zelmanowitz could have easily evacuated the building, he chose to stay and be with his friend who could not escape. This reveals how brave Zelmanowitz truly is, and in the face of fear, he'd rather stay with his friend with the chance he could help him, and if not, he would die with him. Later in the story, it is revealed that both of them died together. Dwyer states that someone saw the collapse of the South Tower, ordered his company out, but stayed with Ed Baya in his wheelchair. No doubt, so is Abe Zelmanowitz, who stood by Baya through the long morning, until only Captain Burke remained with them. This shows the impact of both the captain and Zelmanowitz, who both stayed with someone who couldn't get down. This choice impacted their lives in the greatest way possible, and they died because of a simple choice to not leave someone to die alone. This shows how brave they were up until they died, and how Baya and Zelmanowitz value their friendship.
In another core text we read this year, Macbeth by William Shakespeare, there are many moments in which a character's choice reveal who they are. For example, the main character Macbeth is told by future seeing witches that he would be King of Scotland. Macbeth tells his wife this information and she pushes him into killing the current king, his cousin and good friend. Once he kills the king, he tells his wife, "I have done the deed, didst thou not hear a noise?" This line reveals a lot about the character Macbeth. It shows how he is willing to do whatever it takes in order to secure his fate, and it shows that he is persuaded by his wife to do actions. This action also affects Macbeth's future because the people eventually figure out he killed the king and are set out to start a war, and his own army won't fight for him. Another example in Macbeth is when he refuses to surrender to Macduff. Macduff gives him the chance to live, but not a great life, and Macbeth denies it, saying, "I will not yield to kill the ground before young Malcolm's feet. I throw my warlike shield, lay on Macduff." This shows that Macbeth is a brave warrior who will never surrender under any circumstances, and that he would rather die as long as he did so for his cause. This moment clearly impacted Macbeth's life because he gave up his kingship and his life in order to keep his honor. It is also possible to see the impact of a single moment in the story of Jack and the Beanstalk by the Grimm brothers. In the story, Jack lives with his mom and they sell milk from their cow, but when the cow grows old, Jack is told to go sell the cow in order to buy a new cow. When Jack went to the market, a man told him that he would buy the cow for 5 magic beans. Jack hesitated, but was enticed by the idea of such an extraordinary deal, he decided to accept. This affects the plot of the whole story. Instead of doing what he is told, Jack decided to take a risk and listen to a random person he found in the market. This impacts him because he doesn't get what he needed at first, and it seemed like the beans didn't grow. This reveals that Jack is willing to take chances and might not always listen to what he is instructed to do. In the ending of the story, Jack has a hen that lays golden eggs and has gotten more wealth from the magic beans than he would have ever gotten from the cow he was told to buy. The text states that without his courage and his wit, he and his mother could have never found happiness. This shows how the impact of Jack's choice to take the beans instead has led to a better life that could have otherwise. This shows how the impact of Jack's choice to take the beans instead has led to a better life that he couldn't have had otherwise. This also shows that Jack's character is indeed courageous, and even though he has many conflicts until he reaches his happy ending, he kept pushing through and stayed focused.
In today's world, there are many different times that someone had one single moment in their life that impacted their own career. One of the many examples of this is the ongoing protest of police brutality towards African Americans. This started to become monumental when Colin Kaepernick, who was an NFL star, fought to recognize police brutality by kneeling during the national anthem. Kaepernick protested this way because he believed that he should not stand for the country because it was not in the shape that he believed it should be in. His choices put him under the spotlight, which many people thought he did for fame after he started to regress in football, but he really did this because of his beliefs. The choices Kaepernick made ultimately costed him his own career, and the San Francisco 49ers released Kaepernick from the team, and he has not been signed by any NFL team ever since. What Kaepernick did was he started a league-wide protest that united players and rose awareness for his cause. This choice he made defined him as a person, and he will always be known for the willingness to sacrifice things he loved, to stand for the issues he believed needed to be recognized.
The impact these moments have on many characters we have followed throughout the year have all affected them in ways that changed their lives forever. Most of the time these characters had choices, and most of the time they did what they did because they wanted to fight for what they believed was right. No matter what decisions they made, the impact of the choices they made would have never been the same if it weren't for the situations.